What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys today with a ban and restriction list for Digimon. Yeah, Digimon's ban and restricted list has finally been released. And of course, I will always do a video on any of the major changes for the banned and restricted list for Digimon because, of course, I play Digimon. So we have a lot of hits. We have definitely a couple of misses. And I definitely wanted to take the chance to talk about a lot of the Digimon stuff because, yeah, I'm not a big fan of this list, and I will particularly tell you why in conjunction. So, for those who don't know, the Digimon list was actually announced to us a week before its release. Some games don't know how to do that. And they stick to their word. Like I said, some games don't know how to do that. And I'm very in the middle about this list because I feel like more things should have been added to it. But I feel like overall, with the major hits that they did, let's see how balanced things are for the next couple of weeks because we do have some major tournaments coming up. And I know a lot of people are going to be very focused on them because of them coming up. So let's see how those work out. Now, with it in told, this list goes into effect August 30th, 2024. So you only have a couple of days till I believe the next regionals or the next Ultimate Cup that are going to be out for Digimon. So get prepared for that. And you're going to see decks that are definitely going to be playing right now are definitely being tested at locals to make sure that they're congruent for what's coming up. So, let's go ahead and go through it. So, these are the cards. So, luckily enough, no cards are being banned. Yay, because I don't really think anything needed to be banned, but I feel like a lot of things definitely need to be restricted. And here are the things that are being restricted. Sorry, that's Google. That's YouTube. No, that's Samsung. Anyway, we have our first restricted card, and that is P123 Ukamon, promotional card 123. Then we have promotional card 130, Louis Owada. Then we have Structure Deck 2's number 13, Hammer Spark. Then we have BT9's 98, Awakening of the Golden Knight. Then we have BT15's number 57, Numamon X. Then we have BT14's number 84, Takeru Takeshi. Then we have no longer restricted ST6's number 3, Gabumon. So if you guys want to know their reasoning for why these cards have been changed, you can look this up on the list, and I'll definitely leave you guys a link to it so you guys can see it yourself. Now, while in conjunction to that, I want to talk about these cards overall because this is some crazy shenanigans that has happened. But the first crazy shenanigans that I think is a good shenanigan change is both Ukamon and Louis. The reason why I say these two definitely needed to change is because they were getting to the point where they were so generic. No one really cared about having stability in your deck. These are like the Upstart Goblins, if you will. These are like the Graceful Charities, the Pot of Greeds. These were fill-ins to the deck that generated things to basically give pluses. So if you're wondering why a lot of people started to play a lot of the cards to deal with stuff that says you can't gain memory outside of certain effects, these are the reasons why. Because Louis and Ukamon were definitely on that level of things that definitely needed to be changed before we got into another format. Because it was just ridiculously crazy how these are. So for those who don't know what Ukamon does, Ukamon's effect is that once a turn, when a card is moved from the breeding area into the battle area, you can then not only hatch a new Digi-Egg, but then you're able to gain 1 memory. In conjunction, Louis also has a similar ability where Louis says that on play, you can move a card from the breeding area into the battle area. Then on top of that, if you did move something from the breeding area that's levels 3 or higher to the battle area, you can suspend this tamer to then gain 1 memory. Yeah, so you're literally able to jump up 2 memory thanks to this card. And it's great, these combination of cards. And I honestly have to say, I feel it's very unfair because there are a lot of decks that don't have a stable level 3 setup that in a way Digimon kind of just overlooks that. But I also feel like this is probably the cheap way of getting things done and over with, because this Louis is basically a 3 drop. That Ukamon is basically a free play because you can Digivolve this on top of any Digi Egg for a cost of 0. That's right, Rainbow. And I was just like, oh, this is a thing. And then, excuse me, you start to notice other decks were playing it as well. And it's just like, okay. And then it became an annoyance because now people don't really have to care about relying on their level 3s. They're just going to go Ukamon pass or Ukamon play Louis. Louis is going to move the Ukamon, gain 2 memory, and then hatch a new Digi Egg. And then that creates a lot of things there. It just became a very nasty situation. And I'm glad that they're hitting these cards because the more it generates just unstable environment for gameplay, which there's already other cards that do that as well, but I'll get to that later. But yeah, I am happy that Ukamon finally got hit. But they're also saying Ukamon and Louis are getting reprinted, so it really doesn't matter at that point. But that's just in terms of replay. In terms of actual like play and stuff, no, these cards definitely need to get hit because they were just generating way too much, unstable environment, as they would say in this card game, for other players to play it because it was just too much. It was honestly just too much. So moving on from there is Hammer Spark, and I guess this is going the way of Ice Wall, where these are old school. These are old school blue cards that where a lot of decks are now playing blue. They're just abusing whatever they possibly can find and taking advantage of it. With Hammer Spark, this was kind of just a nasty situation where Hammer Spark in the security gave you 2 memory. So if you didn't choke your opponent's memory, and they don't have a memory setter or a way to gain memory at the start of the turn, you're basically going to force a pass over at that point if they hit into this. It's there. On top of that, you're going to gain memory because your card's effect says, well, gain memory on S card's activation. And not only that, but it was a 0. Yeah, it's a 0 cost. So imagine just having something with so much accessibility that you literally have to figure out ways to play around it because your opponent's gonna have it's like basically the Ice Wall situation. It's like, no, it's not similar to Ice. No, it's exactly like the Ice Wall situation because guess what? Ice Wall gave memory when it was hit from the security. Ice Wall on its own was what, a 1 or 2 cost blue card that says if your opponent swings, you gain memory or they lose memory. So it's just like, yeah. It was only a matter of time before Hammer Spark got hit because there was way too many blue decks that are popping up. They're going to start abusing it. And even more so, Magna Garurumon decks are now appearing and they're playing with their Hammer Sparks and their Ice Walls and whatever little things they can crunch because here we go again with another degenerate setup for blue that blue is just basically picking off its opponents by just simply picking off things or using things to help them pick off. And one of those things, of course, is when they start getting memory. So then on top of that, we have Awakening of the Golden Knight. So this kind of leads from one thing into another because Yellow Vaccine just started to become Magnamon X decks just because of the fact that Magnamon X is actually a vaccine. And here's this card that jumps him up. So it's a lot to really handle when you're having to play around with decks like these. But it's also a hassle when you just want to punch somebody in the face because holy shit, I'm not going to sit here and play with like degenerate ass shit. And I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Playing a lot of these decks did become very degenerate. And it was just like, yeah, I don't want to play anymore. And it's kind of one of those situations too where Magnamon X became very degenerate. Where like Magnamon X was there ever really not degenerate, to be very honest with you? Because Armored Purge decks definitely tended to do that. And for some weird ass reason, they started to just play on that situation. And I was just like, yeah, no. This has to go. Like, this is one of the many of multiple cards that had to go. Because they were just creating too much bullshit. in the format that people had to deal with. So I'm kind of glad. But now let's see what Magnamon X's decks can really do when they only have like this. They might even swarm into, what was that other card? Rapidmon X decks. Because Rapidmon X is still a thing. So, they might just go on that one. And then we'll have to see Welcome to the Golden Warrior. Or whatever the Golden Digi-Egg card is for Rapidmon. Yeah. Then we got Numamon X. Alright, I'm going to say it. If any deck in the format was degenerate as fuck, and oh my god, everybody wanted to see this deck get hit, it's Numamon. My only issue with this is, what the fuck? Why is it only one Numamon card getting hit, and not multiple variants? Well, this simply just because this Numamon, I guess, is the one that can pick up level 6 or higher Digimon, and Digivolve into certain levels. Cute. But this isn't the only issue that we've had with Numamon decks. There's a lot of stuff in Numamon decks that needs to be hit. Not to the point where it's unplayable, but I mean for the fact that it needs to be fucking fair. And I never felt Numamon decks were fair, because every time I look up, it's just like Numamon. It's just like, okay. And then it gets very expensive to build this shit, because you need certain Manzaimon, you need certain you need certain boost cards, you need certain this, you need certain that. It's just like, yeah, no. No, and then it's like everywhere you look, it's a fucking Numamon deck, and it's like, alright. Like, I'm already dealing with this in Yu-Gi-Oh! With fucking Fiendsmith and Snake Eye. I don't need this in my Digimon, so I feel like this is a card that definitely there should have been more hit to it, just besides this one card. Then we scroll down and we have TK. So remember when I talked about Yellow Vaccine? Well, Yellow Vaccine was still having issues, and I think the fact that not only did they hit Magnamon's, support card, but they're also hitting TK. And I'm kind of shocked that Emissary of Hope didn't get hit because of how broken that card is. But then I also was like, you know what? Go ahead and hit the TK. Because if you hit the TK, you're hitting a good problem there. I'm actually quite shocked that they didn't hit the other TK. The one that can check your security and then add a yellow card to it. And if you do, recovery +1 situations. Yeah, I'm kind of glad they didn't do that. But also kind of curious as why they didn't do that. Because it was also a memory starter. So maybe that's part of the reason. Because this one is just more broken than that one. Because this are equally as broken. And I think just because of the fact that this one has the stats on it and the abilities, to when you increase or decrease, that's the reason why hitting this card ultimately became a thing. And I can definitely see why. So I want to see how Yellow Vaccine is going to definitely recover from this change. Then the last of the cards to be changed is Gabumon. And this Gabumon in particular, I think was kind of the one that I figured was going to come back to multiples, because the other ones are just way too broken. For what you guys don't know, or those who do know, a couple of months ago, Anubismon was a thing. Yeah, It's actually in Japan, because Japan's sets are always ahead of ours. And there was a thing with this guy right here. It was not just this guy. It was variations of this guy that had abilities to draw cards and then discard them. Because of this ability in the setup, this is what really posed for the Anubismon, Apocalypmon stuff to really start popping off. And because of how crazy those shenanigans got, they hit certain cards before then. And then they were like, yeah, well, why don't we just release the one card? So let's see how well this one card works. Because I also have a feeling that this is just because Beelzemon is getting some support soon. And maybe that's why they also decided to just go ahead and drop those. There could be some other legitimate reasons as well. But this Gabumon basically says when attacking, you can draw one card and discard one card. Excuse me. And then we're also like other associated cards like that. Gabumon X. There was Gabumon that was purple. No, Gabumon that's purple. Gabumon that was blue, purple. Yeah. So, they had to hit, but they didn't. They're now releasing this Gabumon, which I feel is a little fair. But for my overall things about this, I feel like a couple of other cards should definitely be added to it. One of them, I feel like, looking at it overall, I said there should have been more cards to this, like the stuff from Mirage Galgamon. I don't understand how that survived, but I guess they were thinking, well, let's hit the Hammer Spark and see how that goes. But I feel like, no, there should have been more things hit. In addition to it, I'm going to say more Numamon cards should have definitely been hit, because I feel like this deck is still going to be able to survive and then still reign over things. I also feel that maybe, if anything, they should have hit some more cards from earlier things in the format, because I'm like, there's a lot of these things that should have been hit. Primarily just between what I think would be, yeah, a lot of the yellow stuff needed to be hit. Numamon and them needed to just go bye-bye. And not too many things, but just between Numamon and Mirage Galgamon, I thought they would have hit more stuff. But I guess they were like, no, we kind of still need the rival poster child to have more stuff. And then, changing some things with Numamon is not too much of a thing, because they feel like they're just going to shift into other, players are going to shift into other things. So it is just what it is. We'll just deal with it as it comes. But that's gonna wrap up my video for here. So let me know if in the comment section what you guys think about the updates to the restricted and limited list for Digimon. Do you feel like certain cards needed to be hit? Do you feel like certain cards should have been hit, or do you think they missed something? Let me know how you feel about it in the comment section below. With that said and done, I'm going to wrap up my video here. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, as it helps me out tremendously. You can hit the notification bell to be informed of when I do upload more content to my channel. And my social media links are in the description box below, and you guys can check out the other playlists to see when I upload more content. For my other content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and HBJ signing out. Take care.